Welcome back, NFHell Championship Weekend, AFC, NFC. I'm your host, Midwest Jet, the show where we talk about football, how shitty our teams are, and now it's the playoffs and none of us are in it. You can imagine our NFL. James Marvs. Hello, Martian.
That's my
Gobo.
space modulator.
Hi, everybody.
And G-Man Jazz.
Wait, where's your crown, Gobes?
Playoffs, baby. Playoffs.
Pride cometh before the fall, my good friend.
The fall. Yeah, if you go back and watch last week, I mean, we had King Gobo in the house. You know the show. We 2 weeks. We start off with the
I was
news.
like, yeah, as soon as we clinched, I bought that crown on Amazon.
They beheaded the king, and now he's a fucking jester. All right.
Anyway, coaching news is kind of the big deal, especially for our teams that aren't in the playoffs, getting rid of their coaches, getting coaches back. The Yaders. Who was our boy we had on here a couple weeks ago, James? Cowboy.
Rodeo Raider.
Cowboy
Yeah,
Raider.
dude, he texts me right away, and I text you guys as soon as he texts me, and then he's like, at least defensive coordinator, right? I'm like, you're telling me that you told me I already told the guys that he was hired, and now you're telling me that, and I'm like, oh no, and then it turned out he actually was hired. So I was like, what do I do? What do I do? But it worked out. So that's a good call for them. Their GM situation, Telesco, I don't know. We'll see.
Guys, the Antonio Pierce, everyone seems to, be raving, which sure, but you always get these situations where someone hops in, does pretty good, and they super overachieved, and the next year Raiders start, 0-5 or something. What are we all going to be saying? Pierce sucks, or the quarterback sucks, or what? But I think all the Raider fans and everyone else need to be a little careful, remembering that A, they're in the Chiefs division, and B, they're the Raiders. So although this looks like a great hire, and I love Antonio Pierce, of course, Super Bowl champion for the Giants, there is another side that could happen. So it could get ugly quick.
I appreciate everything that you're saying, and I don't necessarily disagree with you, but I want to throw a challenge flag at you really quick and see what you say. You don't hire Antonio Pierce, you run the risk of demand trades being made by your wide receiver, your best defensive player. Those players wanted him, and there was no way they were going to get away with not hiring him. What say you?
I
do too. I have a saying.
Let him answer first, and then we'll.
Yeah, let's let Jazz field this one first because he probably thinks that we do.
Yeah, it was brought right back at me, so I will answer. If I own a business, and one of my star employees is going to cry if I don't hire his buddy as the plant manager, it's probably not going to fly. So I understand that he's going to demand a trade, but you own the rights to Max Crosby. Devontae Adams is probably gone anyway, and you're going to be working at another new quarterback. So you're going to pay Crosby. He's going to stay. The contract will make him happy and change his mind. And if you go out and fucking land Harbaugh instead of Pierce, I'm pretty sure no one's going to have a problem with that. And that's what the alternative to the Raiders probably could have done, is try to lure Harbaugh out there. And now we might end up seeing him in the same division, making it even harder for the Raiders to succeed.
It's a good answer, man. I appreciate that. But I also want to know what's so explicit about your left-handed Martin that you have to blur it out. You guys see that?
I don't know why I'm blurred out, by the way.
It's a filter effect. But
you hit the 3 little dots and it says blur background. So
I'm gonna jump in on this one too. Yeah. So I totally agree with Jazz. And the fact of the matter is that the NFL is a business. Your product is wins. You cannot let feelings factor into it. And you see it a lot. Like I think the Rams are a really good example of this. The year that they moved to LA, went 1-15. They brought their strength coach as an interim coach up, and all the players are like, "That's our coach. That's who we want." And then the Cronkies were like, "Fuck that! We're hiring a real coach. No, he can stay on the staff, and sell T-shirts, whatever the fuck his job was after that. And they went out and got McVay, and McVay won the Super Bowl in 2 years after going 1-15. So it's like, don't let your players make decisions. That's your job as the GM.
Before we move on to jails, I just have to ask you, good hire or a bad hire?
Bad hire.
Okay, interesting.
I'm telling you, the Raiders got worse.
All right, jails.
I mean, my whole thing is I look at it this way. You're comparing, and now obviously not over the long haul, but immediately you're comparing Antonio Pierce to Josh McDaniels. So it's like, of course he's better, but he also did what? He went 5-4. I didn't see him then do really. They beat the Chiefs once. Whoopity ding dong. A lot of people beat the Chiefs this year. They weren't that good, but again, it's the Raiders. Nah, I'm with you. I'm with Gobo. Boo. I hate the Raiders. This is a bad hire. I just think you can't let your players dictate what you do, because it's like anything. Once you start to do that, then what? Oh, the offensive coordinator gets, oh, I'm going to leave if he does that. Oh, I'm going to do, if I don't get water.
It's like Josh said, Devontae's out, whether it's the Jets or another team, depending on who wants to give him a fair shake. And then, Max Crosby, you fucking franchise tag him or you extend his contract. What's he going to do? Sit out? He's not going to fucking sit out. Dude wants to play. He's a baller. So he's going to go on the field for you.
I don't necessarily disagree with you guys, your sentiments on not letting your players dictate the conduct, but I had to ask the question.
Well, and I'll say this, even if the players didn't, I know sometimes a coach can get, just the holy cow, he's that good, but he has no, real experience besides the interim. It's not like he was a coach in college or high school. I think he had a high school coaching stint. I'm not sure, but I don't think he's ever been a head coach anywhere. And like JL said, you set a precedent like that, and what are you going to do the next 5, 6, 7 requests of stud players? Then, oh yeah, will you listen to us this time? So I love Antonio Pierce. Like I said, could he be a good coach, head coach? Sure, but I don't know. Odds are against it.
I would be curious. I would be curious what the contract is. If they gave him 1 year, I don't think it's bad at all. 2 years, I don't think it's bad at all. If they committed beyond 2 years, then
but as a coach, are you going to? I feel like you're not giving me a fucking 2-year deal. You're giving me a fucking 5-year deal.
And I was going to say, even if it is 1 year, this isn't a player. This is your coach, man. You make the wrong choice, you can't just put in another coach.
Right. And it doesn't matter what they sign him, because if he sucks, they're going to cut. If they has a 4-year contract and he sucks after 2 years, they can fire him anyway. It's just the money.
Yeah, your coach's contract doesn't affect your salary cap.
Yeah, McDaniels just got fired halfway through this year, and he just signed. Didn't he signed a huge deal anyway? All right, we're gonna enough about talking about this. Yeah. No offense,
Raiders.
A head coach who his dad conveniently worked for the Raiders and lost them a Super Bowl, but Brian got hired as the new head coach in Tennessee. Who would have thunk? Who would have thunk? Is this on anybody's radar? I didn't hear anybody in any game ever announcing any broadcast saying, "Wow, the Bengals is he's going to be a hot candidate looking for a job."
I certainly did not see this coming. The Bengals have definitely had a pretty prolific offense the years when they're not been stricken with injuries, but I think that's kind of telling, as well as that if you lose Joe Burrow and then you can't win games afterwards, and the offense is really all you have going for your team, how do you expect that skill to translate to a head coaching job? So I don't really like this hire either. I think that there was a lot of other guys out there. I think Harbaugh Harbaugh's the name that keeps coming up. He could have been a good fit in Tennessee. A young logistics guy. Somebody who can rework a draft, replace all those aging players. That's kind of what the Titans need. And I feel like this guy, he's going to go out there and he's going to be like, okay, who are my talented guys? We got D-Hop, we got Derrick Henry. Let's get them the ball. Find a way to get them the ball, and it's not going to work. Plus, no defense.
I like this hire, and I like this hire because the Seahawks position is still open, and that's one less guy that
They fucking said the balloons.
Yay! But
Happy
secondly, he lost his quarterback mid-season, and he still was able to win some games with another quarterback by completely changing the way that they were playing on offense. And that to me says that he can make adjustments. So the tail of the tape is out on this guy as well. But I like the hire because he's not going to go to Seattle.
Well, I mean, and then we can also talk about his Levis staying. Who's going to be the quarterback? They're getting rid of all of them. He's going to get his own guy. Derrick Henry's probably out. D-Hop also could be out.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole rebuild.
I would assume they think they're going to, in my mind, they're keeping Levis, but like you said, you never know. I'm assuming they would have those conversations with that guy before they hired him. And unless they have a trade partner, I'm assuming they're going with Levis.
Yep.
They should.
Yeah, I mean, I at least give him a shot. Like maybe bring in a veteran or draft a quarterback, and then make somebody earn the job in camp. Like it should be Levis. I think Levis is definitely the most talented quarterback playing there, but I don't know if I'd necessarily just hand it to him.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You never know. Especially, I can't remember what pick they have, but who knows what they would do in the draft. All right, two other coaches that we kind of will touch on we will talk about each week till they get hired. Harbaugh, Belichick, where are they going? What are they doing? Sounds like Belichick didn't like something going on in Atlanta. He had 2 interviews there, and now nothing.
I guess the rumor cooled, so I guess somebody on one of the parties wasn't happy. I don't know if Belichick's going to get another job in the NFL.
James?
I agree. I don't think he's getting another.
It's hard to fathom that he couldn't, but we don't. Who knows? Most people could be like, "You were nothing without Tom."
Right. Look at the tape. Look at the tape. Look at the tape. He was at the Browns. They sucked before.
I think you have 2 things. Like, yeah, he's tied to Tom for being good, and he's fucking old, guys. Like, if I'm running a franchise, I'm not gonna get a coach that age, regardless of his status, if I know it's not long term. How fast can you really turn it around? What year was it when he was with the Patriots? Bledsoe, the Jets wouldn't have knocked Bledsoe out. We may never even have won a Super Bowl. So come back and do defensive coordinator, because that's where you're good. That's where you're good, Bill.
Or you're making your plea, man. I dig it.
I love Bill.
As far as Harbaugh goes, I'm waiting to see where he's gonna rest his hat. I honestly, I can't. He's not coming back.
The rumor is the Chargers.
I think he's going to the Chargers.
You said something about Pete Carroll and the Chargers?
Yeah, I just saw this today. So long-term USC coach and long-term USC fan. I guess Pete Carroll and Snoop Dogg are good buddies. And so Snoop leaked on his Twitter that Pete wants to coach the Chargers. Not that the Chargers are interested, but that's where Carroll would like to end up. I don't know. Snoop Dogg has been high for
is it possible that Snoop Dogg is high?
I mean, hey, you know what? He probably knows as well as any of fucking us do,
Probably got high with Pete Carroll.
If he wants it, if Snoop wants it, he just puts it out there. He's like, well, now, maybe the Chargers will reach out and say, is this true?
Yeah, maybe this is enough to get the Chargers to be like, well, if this gets us a demographic by pleasing Snoop's fans, what the hell?
Yeah, worse than the last
fucking guy.
You're not that big, Snoop.
I guess my one question with Belichick would be this, and people, if you're listening at home, chime in. Is this most coaches, I want to say, in the league, how long do they actually last on a team? Like, yeah, we got these guys who are there for a long time. And a lot of us, especially in NFL, 5 years, that's a long tenure. Give Belichick a 5-year deal, say he's going to end his career here. This is it. Give him a 5-year plan, and he's out the window. Is he better than any other coach? Both presidential candidates are pushing 80, and they're running the country.
Well, that's not a good idea either.
I was going to say, we're forced to pick from those two guys. We can hire anybody to run the football team.
Right.
We're bottlenecked on choosing a president.
Yeah, let's not go political here.
I was going to say I could get into some politics. That's a different show.
Speaking of politics, the Seahawks offensive coordinator, where's he going? Where's he going, James?
Chicago.
The Bears.
I mean, I don't love Shane Waldron as the Seahawks coordinator. And you guys know how I feel about old Justin Fields. I don't know how the Bears feel about him. We'll see. They haven't said whether he's their guy or not.
I mean, he just had Geno. I mean, I feel like.
So, yeah, I mean, we'll see.
I will be
interesting.
I will be fully honest. If the Bears make good off-season moves, I will admit it on this show. I hate the Bears, but like if they like get good draft capital for that first pick, or if they draft like a really good quarterback, Caleb, but or if they like, if they put together a functional team in the offseason, I will admit it. I just don't think they will.
We've all seen Draft Day, right? The movie.
Yep.
And like what happened on that draft. Basically, Houston did that last year.
Okay, yeah,
they have an opportunity to do more than that. So if they don't, anything less than like a home run is just flush your franchise down the toilet. Like,
and bro, I'm telling you, you can trade Fields for a minimum of 2 firsts, pick Williams. I mean, or trade Williams for a fucking 2 firsts.
A minimum of first, 2 firsts for Fields.
You guys really think that?
Dude,
I'm just curious.
No, literally, I do. I think that if the Bears don't draft Caleb Williams or don't trade that pick away, they have failed. If they draft any other player,
I 100% agree with that. My question is, do we really think Justin Fields would garner 2 first-round picks?
How old is he? 27, 28? Can a 1,000-yard rusher with a rocket
you could at least get one. You could get at least 1 first round and another starter from another team for Justin.
Josh Rosen got a first rounder twice. He got drafted as a first, got traded for a first, and got traded for a first again.
I'm not
easily
possible.
Easily
I've seen ridiculous things. I mean, look what was given up for Bryce Young. I
mean, look what they gave for John Gruden. Like,
look what they gave for Jamal Adams. I mean,
minimum of 2 first rounders. Minimum 2 first rounders.
People overpay for names, and Justin Fields has a name. He's very talented.
And it's quarterback, man, the most important position. Somebody still loves Justin Fields that didn't get him in that draft.
And I don't know why anybody in Chicago is sold on him being your long-term guy.
Yeah,
I don't know why. Like, he's okay. He's okay.
And that's why I wouldn't.
Not going to win.
I'll tell you who would be. If you see the capital that you have in front of you, and you know what you can get by trading the first pick and keeping him, you're going to get more for Caleb than you are for Justin. We can
win more games with Caleb too.
Yeah.
Well, we don't really actually know that.
No, we don't know.
We don't know what Justin would do with a full barricade of excellent players like the Packers have. We don't know.
Well, like you're saying, trade down a couple spots, get Marvin Harrison Jr. to go with Fields, pick up some more picks, and guys, get 1 or 2 more starting linemen or get a lineman in free agency.
Moore and Harrison in the same receiver course with any quarterback.
Yeah. But you got to absolutely nail the draft from the point of the trade, because you're giving someone Caleb Williams, a potential Hall of Fame 15-year guy in one. I mean,
yeah, he could be the next Pat Mahomes. You don't know. He could be the next Bryce Young.
I mean,
we'll find out. That's why this is exciting. All right,
that's why it's fun.
Well, we all know he won't look like a middle schooler on the screen. So he's
not Bryce Young. I don't know. Russell Wilson looked like a middle schooler, and he won the Super Bowl. So
who do you guys think is the most capable NFL-ready quarterback from college football right now?
Ooh, it's definitely Williams or Penix.
Penix.
I'm calling him Penix. I don't care. He could be in the NFL
that's really
for
funny,
50
actually.
years.
Man, I really like that big Penix.
Yeah,
that Penix pick.
Word is, I mean, Denver sports radio was a buzz that the Broncos want him bad.
Penix.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing.
They're done with Russ. They're done with Russ, and they're not getting Caleb.
Until I start diving into it, watching.
I can't answer that either.
James, do you have an idea? I mean, who's your guy? Who's your guys?
think it's Caleb Williams, but I mean,
it's obviously Caleb Williams.
I mean, I would not be surprised if Penix becomes an absolute stud in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. He's got the
yeah, me too.
He's got a rocket arm. I mean,
all right. This brings us to our part of the show where we discuss last weekend's divisional round games.
Yeah,
James Marvs came in dead last.
Fell straight to my knees and sucked a dick.
1-3. Was it Lawrence? Was he hanging?
Blowy?
Gobo and myself led the week 3-1. G-Man Jass. And even, I mean, you basically.
You know what? Jass is just average. At least I'm below average. You're just fucking average, dude.
2-2.
I'm first in the playoffs, so
2-2.
Tied.
Tied.
Hey,
playoffs. All right.
We can all rest now, knowing that none of our teams are winning the Super Bowl this year.
Yes.
It's finally.
Where's your crown, King Gobo?
Finally over for all of us.
Well, Gobo and I both started off the weekend picking the correct game. Baltimore, Houston. What the fuck happened to Houston?
They didn't have a play in the red zone.
Nope.
What the fuck?
No.
Oh, yeah, the one touchdown was a punt return.
And I believe they could have been up 3 points at halftime.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
They hung in there for a while. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Jess.
Yeah, I mean, just the total youth thing. They feel good about their season moving forward. Yeah. Ravens were able to just keep doing what they're doing, and now getting that game under their belt, it's gonna be a good one. So Texans good outlook, but Ravens are too good.
I feel like I've been saying this for the last 7 weeks, but there is nobody better than the Ravens. Like they're just the most complete team. Lamar is having a career season. They're gonna roll. As good as the Texans are, as much momentum as they had, they went in there and just ate a big old mouthful of sand.
Right. And I'm gonna say too is like I keep thinking like, let's just say the Ravens win the Super Bowl, they go on. Lamar has 2 MVPs. He wins. He's in the Hall of Fame. He's already in the Hall of Fame.
100%.
And he was just fighting for a contract at the beginning of this year. He was just
he was washed up according to Gobo.
You know what? I saw a lot of Kaepernick isms in Lamar Miller.
I hear you. I see where you're coming from on that. You guys, I forgot. I don't know why I forgot. I was really high on Buffalo. I forgot about the Ravens.
You forgot.
I mean, they kicked me in the teeth the same way they kicked Houston in the teeth, because I was just like, oh yeah, this is the team that beat us 41-3. Oh yeah, they are.
Whooped San Francisco, whooped Dallas, whooped fucking the Eagles. Like, yeah, they beat every team that's in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Dude, raise your hand if you whooped on the Eagles this year.
Oh man,
yeah, buddy.
We would have.
Seattle plays all 3 of you guys next year too, by the way.
Bro.
It's gonna be a fun season, gentlemen.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of the NFC, Gobo, we'll let you start this one off. You did actually pick the game correctly.
I did.
Your strategy worked in that regard. Dames, you actually took his team, but the rest of us did take the Niners. Gobo, thoughts on your finale?
So I wanna start with the positives. Packers had a great season. They outperformed in almost every metric that I thought they would have. I remember going into this season, I was worried we were gonna end up, with a high draft pick and lose Matt LaFleur. Jordan Love was going to be a backup in Atlanta or some shit next year. Like, I didn't see the potential of this team, and I've never been happier to be wrong. I'm wrong a lot when it comes to football, but hey, you hired me, Dames. So
well, I've been wrong more than you, so that.
Hey, there you go. So I was like, who is the wronger of the two of us? But yeah, The positives are the Packers played a pretty balls out game. They went out there, they performed, they had opportunities to win, they hung in there with the best team in the NFC. Um, the negative side of it is we hung in there and we could have won and we had opportunities, and if we would have went out and got blown out by 40, I could have been walked away from this game a little bit, calmer and been like, you know what, this wasn't our year. We could have, we'll rebuild, we'll make some adjustments. But we went out there, missed a couple of key opportunities, and the Niners found a way. They have that much talent. They lost Debo, didn't matter. That's why I don't think it's going to make a lick of difference next week. Debo, great player. The 49ers got other guys. So,
Exactly.
good game. It was a great game. Honestly, it was a damn good game. It sucks to come out on the bottom end of it, but San Francisco's a hell of a team.
Yeah, I thought you were, I thought the Packers were actually going to win it. And then speaking of Debo, he went out injured. My bad at the beginning. So we usually talk about that a little bit, but Debo got hurt, and as soon as that happened, they flashed that stat like, oh, the 49ers went 0-3 in the middle of the season without him, and Purdy looked like crap. And then you guys were like,
they were also missing another guy during that stretch. His name was Christian McCaffrey.
Right. So there you have it. And I feel like Christian McCaffrey in this game actually, I feel like he kind of took the team on his back there for a while, that 30-yard run, and then he was like, hey, we're not losing this one.
He's the best running back in the NFL. Him and Lamar, I mean, that's a tough call for MVP because they're both so dynamic.
Does anybody watch Workaholics on here?
Oh, yeah.
Anders. That is your kicker, dude. And he fucking missed it. And every time he fucking goes up to kick, we're always like, fucking Anders, dude.
Fucking Anders, dude. No, he's a rookie. How do you replace Mason Crosby?
Not with Anders.
He's not with that guy, but it's just like we had that was like our most consistent position. I mean, that Mason Crosby kicked for all three of the Packers quarterbacks. So it's like,
what round draft pick did you spend on this guy? It was pretty high.
Yeah, it was like a third. It was like way high for a kicker.
Yeah, ridiculous.
All right, but here's the thing, guys. You can't be a veteran kicker until you're a rookie kicker. So, but I did read a statistic that he missed either an extra point or a field goal in 12 this year. That's a lot.
See you later.
It didn't end up mattering seeding wise in the playoffs, so I try not to hold it against it too much. But we lost a couple of games because of missed kicks.
We
lost the Giants game because of a missed kick.
LaFleur was standing by him though. He said he cringes every time the guy goes up there, but he's sticking by him, which I think is the right move.
He prays every time this guy goes out to kick. That can't be healthy. That really can't be healthy.
I said, wow, good job.
I'm the only one that picked the Packers, eh?
Yeah.
You guys were all shitting your pants at some point in that game, knowing that.
I actually thought they were going to pull it off.
I love being wrong with my picks when I pick against the Packers.
I thought, the only thing that, the kick was big because obviously the game's tied at that point, but throwing across the field on first down.
Brett Favre.
I
feel like that's.
Yeah, Brett Favre just kind of somehow put his energy in there because it was so fucking weird. It's like I haven't seen him make a throw like that all season, and all of a sudden he just does it. And it's like, what the fuck was that? Where did Favre come?
Well, Favreisms aside, and yes, I watched Brett Favre do that for many, many seasons. Jordan Love has done this, thrown an interception on a game-winning drive like 5 times this season. Like the Falcons, the Giants, the Broncos, the Raiders. Like he fucked up multiple games by throwing game-losing interceptions at the end of the game.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, that's actually, a good sign for next season, Gobo, because I don't know if we mentioned it again this show, but we've said a couple times, the youngest team, like you said, you got to feel good. Youngest playoff roster ever. 3, 4, 5 wide receivers that are in their year 1 or 2 that are only going to be growing with Love, growing with Love. And yeah, good effort. Niners look pretty good and took care of business just barely. So,
I mean, you know what? We kicked the shit out of Dallas.
I got to read this.
Okay, read this. We'll move on to the next game.
All right. So speaking of douches, we all know Aaron's the biggest douche, but Favre's like a money laundering douche also. But this is pretty cool.
Picture sending guy.
He went to Twitter and said this: "Great game and tough loss for my Packers. I'm sure I speak for all Packers fans when I say we are very proud of you and can't wait to see what the future holds. Lots to be excited about. Jordan, keep your chin up because I believe you can be the best Packer quarterback yet. Congrats." That's classy, dude. I like that.
Okay, moving on to classy. Had no segue there at all. Tampa Bay, Detroit. What a magical game. I took my boys, been taking all year, Bulls and Baker. Do we talk about it right away? Do we know if this is true? Do we okay, so long story short, if you haven't heard out there, the box right at that. The box at
Why did you just turn into the 1940s Yankees announcer? Everybody out there, we got a game out here.
And that one's down in the dirt. We'll have to do a digging.
Todd Bowles had a timeout, but he didn't use it. What was he thinking? So anyway, Bowles had a timeout, one left. We're 99% sure. I personally read some things. Maybe there wasn't a timeout left. We kind of need to quadruple check that. Anyway, the Lions kneeled on it. I've also heard some other things where the Lions were all kind of gathered around there, and Bowles just said, "Just kneel on it. We're not taking the timeout." As in, they would have waited, and if he wouldn't have said that, but since he said that, they just kneeled.
Okay, but everything that I know is contradictory to what you're saying.
Okay, what do you got?
With my point, they fucking kneeled on third down with 31 seconds left, and you have a timeout left, and you don't call it. His excuse was they're in field goal range. It doesn't do us any good to call a timeout. Well, guess what? Field goals don't always get made, as we witnessed by two other fucking games this week, right? So the fact that you could have had, 30 seconds left and only need a field goal.
I thought it was only going to be 5 seconds left.
This guy is an idiot.
30 seconds left.
This guy's an idiot. That's all I gotta say about Bulls. He's an idiot. It is 30 some seconds, and they had a timeout. And you're telling me that nothing weird's ever fucking happened in a football game. This wasn't even that close of a field goal, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe even 50.
It was 48 yards, I think.
48 yards. Okay,
it's not a guarantee. It's a hard kick.
It's unbelievable that the thing that pisses me off. The thing that pisses me off the most, he doesn't even recognize it still, and he's answering the interview questions like it's a dumb question, basically. And how do you go forward with someone that isn't going to use every second of the game to try to win a fucking playoff game? And this, mind blowing.
This is my other comment with this is okay, so also though, let's look at it on the other side. Why are the Lions kneeling on it and not waiting? They had time and said they just kneeled on it. I mean, they could have waited how many more seconds and then it definitely would have been done. There wouldn't even be this controversy at all. They kneeled on it too early as well. So we're saying if somebody competent on the other side who had the timeout would have took it, we would be talking right now how fucking dumb the Lions were for all they had to do was kneel on it. They didn't count down. You couldn't do the math.
So now you're arguing the worst coach.
Here's the thing is I don't know. I think that there is some discussion whether they did or did not have the timeout. I think that there's a chance that the TV audience was misinformed. Here's the biggest issue, though, is Todd Bowles didn't seem to know. And he went into that press conference. If he would have just said, oh, no, there was no timeout, the clocks were wrong. If he would have known, that would have been, we'd be having a very different discussion. The fact of the matter is, he defended a point that's flagrantly wrong by game theory in football, is that you want the ball with any amount of time to try to win.
Especially if they're missing a 48-yard field goal and you're sitting there on the 40 and you only need a field goal and you have 30 seconds, that's enough for a 25-yard pass and get down the ball for a kick.
Especially if you're in the playoffs. I mean, if you're going for the top draft pick, sure, bud. Sure, Bulls, don't do that if you suck that bad, but you're in the playoffs, bro.
No, it's fucking bad. It's a really bad look for him.
Well,
I've always been kind of hyped on the Todd Bowles train. I thought that he did a really good job this season, getting Tampa into the playoffs, getting Baker restarted. But like, fuck, man, that was a bad press conference.
and I'm gonna look into it. Well, I'll see if we can, or maybe we all can. Somebody at home, maybe if you're a huge Bucks fan, you're like, this is bullshit. This isn't. This is my guy. He didn't do that anyway. Let's move on.
Hey, he still answered the interview question because he didn't know, is what we're also saying. So, how you wouldn't just say we didn't have any timeouts left. The fact that he didn't say that is even more mind-blowing.
Didn't he say the game is over? Didn't he say the game was over? So that's what made
me. Yeah, he said they were in field goal range, and they're like, well, what if they missed the field goal? And he's like, oh, the game is over. Like, so he just he gave up. Like he
gave up, bro.
Giving up. So rather than if he did or not, it's kind of irrelevant.
I hate him so much for this.
Yeah, that's pretty shitty.
Go watch it.
I know, and it puts a blemish on a pretty good game played by Detroit. And even the Bucks, like they hung in there. This is another pretty good football game. I don't know, like it's such an exciting time to be a Lions fan right now because you know that this shit is like not gonna last.
Yeah, and maybe that's kind of why this whole time was like, who gives a shit? 99% of the country's like hyped on the Lions. They won. Like it was. Did you? I mean, everybody out there watching.
I'm an exciting story. They're back to 500 or below next year.
I guarantee it. This is their shot, and they need to beat the 49ers next week, and then they're probably gonna have to beat the Ravens in the Super Bowl. And I just like, do you see the Lions really doing that this year?
No, I don't. One team a lot of people did see doing it. The Bills were at home finally.
Let's start this one, please.
You can start this one. And before we do start, though, I mean, there was only one person who picked the Chiefs. It was me. You guys all.
No, that's fine.
I was a Bills Mafia last week.
James.
God damn. Patrick. Well, first of all, let's talk about everybody that's talking about toxic masculinity when they showed Taylor Swift and everybody getting pissed online. I see as many women upset about this as I do men. And first of all, I couldn't care less whether they show her or not. But what's weird is they show her every single time Kelsey makes a play or the Chiefs make a play. They show that box. And that in itself is weird. I'm not bothered by it, but I think it's kind of weird. The Bills. The Bills. 2 words that they never wanted to hear ever again. Wide right. And I'll say it. You can't be a veteran kicker until you're a rookie kicker. And rookie kickers fucking blew worse than I did with my picks this weekend. I'm not going to say that missed kick cost them the game because there were other opportunities. The Chiefs, they haven't given up 30 points this season. That's crazy, you guys. As bad as we've like ripped on them for not playing really well, that defense has played really well. The offense is what I've had a problem with.
Right.
Facts.
You know, it's
Facts.
And this has to be said at some point in this conversation. Patrick Mahomes has been a starter for 6 seasons. He's never not played in the AFC Championship game. That is insane, dude.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. How long can this go?
That's why he gets paid so much, man. Patrick Mahomes isn't the only reason that the Chiefs made the Super Bowl all that many times. That the defense is really well put together, and it's another one. It's a heartbreaking game. I will say about Taylor Swift, not to like bring her into this show either, but it's kind of insane from a media perspective how popular she actually is. Like, just music aside, acting aside, her mediocrity aside, everyone adores her, and I don't understand it, but it's a reality.
Okay, good. Just everybody, yes, like one word. Good for the NFL, yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Barf.
I know it sucks, but it's gonna get kids. It's gonna get more kids watching football. That means more kids are
gonna
gonna
get more girls watching the sport.
We're gonna get better quality football in the future.
I read 40 million. I mean, the Super Bowl is usually 110 plus. So to have a divisional round, get 40, that's a new plateau.
Right. The most since like 1988 or something. I think.
Yeah, the Taylor Swift effect.
So, but I got a couple of things to say. Yeah, I think Scott Norwood is out there like doing a big line of cocaine and having some champagne after that shit because like now Bills fans might like now that there's two guys on that list of ruining a playoff game with a kick, maybe that takes the sting away a little bit.
Norwood's was a Super Bowl, so I mean he's trumped him a little bit, but yeah, it's definitely somebody else for them to
right. I mean, and Norwood was a long time ago too. A lot of those.
Forget about Ray Finkel. His was also the Super Bowl.
Yeah, this was
Ray
Bass.
Finkel was in the
man.
This was Bass, right?
I thought it was the AFC Championship that Finkel missed against Buffalo.
Oh yeah,
that was the ring.
That was an AFC. Oh no, they got an AFC Championship ring. You're right. They lost to the Eagles in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Do you know?
Was it Bass?
Yeah, Bass missed the field goal. Yeah.
Yeah, so Norwood will.
It's all that terrible Dan Marino's fault. He had the laces in.
Norwood will be fucking inviting Bass over after his.
I know,
career.
yeah. Norwood just like sends him a card, like
wide right club.
Norwood was just
the second other thing I want to say about this game is like another part of the Travis Kelce press box, Jason Kelce enjoying his retirement. Good to see. He's out there wasted, drinking bowling balls full of liquor with Bills fans, holding up little girls and forcing Taylor Swift to say hi to them. Like that guy's a fucking G.
Dude,
like, I love Jason Kelce.
He might be the next Marshawn Lynch afterlife.
Yeah.
Seriously. I can see him being on all these reality shows now, like Marshawn Lynch is, doing a lot of television. The guy's got
he might take over for Strahan when Strahan retires.
I mean, I could see that's a good call. Yeah.
He's that popular.
Shit. Side note on Norwood, by the way, he was just in a commercial this year with like his granddaughter. Maybe the jinx finally got passed on. They put him in a commercial for some ungodly reason, and look what happened.
Look what happened. The curse. All right, we are going to move on here. NFL championship weekend. Whatever. We'll start off. Chiefs at Ravens. Wow. Remember, at home, play along. We want to know who you're taking in these games because this game is going to be 48-35, 44-13. I mean,
they're not going to score 30. Neither team's going to score 30.
Right.
The numbers are there. If anybody scores over 30, I will I don't know, I'll buy you guys dinner or something.
You don't think
they'll win? They score over 30, they'll win.
Well, yeah, I mean,
right, but I think that I agree. I don't think they're going to score over 30, but I think the Ravens are still going to win.
Yeah, me too. I'm a Ravens believer. That defense is just too good. Lamar's playing at such a high level.
I know I keep saying this, and I'm like, oh yeah, the Ravens, but like I can't get out of my head that Patrick Mahomes has not lost in January in his career. I mean, he just doesn't lose. I mean, he has before, but he
lost to the Bengals.
Typically does not lose. But they got to go on the road again, which we thought would be. That's why I picked Buffalo. If it was in Arrowhead, I might have had a different tune. But
who are you taking this time?
Fuck, dude. I don't care if I'm wrong anymore. I'm going to go just based on my emotions and what I want to happen. Fucking tired of the Chiefs being in the top of the roost. I am ready for new blood. I would love to see Lamar win one, and I'm going to go for Baltimore.
Hell yeah!
All right, G-Man. And I do have one stat that maybe will help if you're kind of thinking about the Chiefs. One of their offensive linemen went out. Sounds like he's probably out. If it's his pec, he's probably out for rest of the play.
For the playoffs, at least, yeah.
That is huge because the Chiefs O-line is already, I don't know, I'm just saying. Losing a guy in the middle of a week, and all of a sudden you're going to try to replace, I think he might even be an all-pro guy. So I think that's bad news because the Ravens D is damn good.
I was like, yeah, the Chiefs receiving core is totally mediocre. Kelsey's gonna have radar on him all day. They're gonna have a spy on him.
Juan Smith and Queen in the middle. Yeah.
And so basically you're betting on Mahomes and Pacheco to bail you out. It's like against that front four in Baltimore, nah, I don't see it. I don't see Kansas City able to score in this game very much.
G-Man.
Hey guys, Ravens and Chiefs. I went against both of them last week, so what do I know about either of these teams? Ravens are 3.5-point favorites. I would think they cover that pretty easily, like you guys were saying. Ravens are tough at home, talented everywhere, and it's hard to go against the Super Bowl. Title game monster that Mahomes is, but of all the teams he's had, I have to think this is the weakest offense they have had. Although Spags can always come up with a good game plan, I think Lamar's just playing at that level. Predicted he'd win the MVP quite some time ago, which he most likely will. And they went at home and will be going to face who in the Super Bowl?
And that's what we'll talk about next. Good segue, my brethren. The Lions at Niners. I'll start. I'm taking the Lions. I haven't picked them here. I feel like I haven't picked them all year long. I feel like I'm always against them, but now I'm kind of like, you know what? I'm looking at both the coaches. They're both fucking good, but the quarterback, man. I think Goff has the upper. He's been to the Super Bowl. He's been in big moments. And the Lions are playing really well. That offense is just rolling. They got Gibbs. They got St. Brown. They got Laporte. I just think they're rolling. And I think the 49ers without Debo, I'm going to go with this 0-3 stat. Yeah, they didn't have McCaffrey, but this defense of the Lions up front, they shut down the run. Then you have to have Purdy beat you. No way. Lions are going to fulfill everyone's dreams and go to the Super Bowl. Sadly, they're going to play the Ravens. So, who would like to go next? Let's go round robin. James Mars, we'll go with you. You're right next to me or over the.
Yeah.
I never know what side you're on.
Forgot that Jared Goff played in a Super Bowl.
He lost. He didn't score a touchdown.
But you're right. He did. Okay. I hate the 49ers with a passion. Fortunately, I've had all year that they're the best team in the NFL. They're certainly the best team in our division. They're one of the best coach teams there is out there. They have a roster where everybody across from you is worse. The Lions did sign Zach Ertz to help back up the tight end position this week, which is, Laporta there, but he's not 100%.
They have Hawkinson too.
Yeah, he's certainly been. No, Hawkinson's a Viking. They traded him like 2 years ago.
I thought they got him from the Vikings. I thought.
No.
Other way around. You're good.
But it's all good.
Laporta.
They can't have two Iowa guys on the same.
They can't have two stud Iowa guys.
Think about this: Noah Fant and George Kittle are also Iowa tight ends.
Wow,
3 of them are in the play. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, Noah Fant's a stud, man.
Anywho, I am gonna pick against my better judgment the Lions in this game because I'm emotional right now. I'm not trying to win anything. I want to watch a game where it's the Lions and the Ravens, and I can just watch the game and not give a shit who wins. That's what I want. That's what I'm trying to will into existence. Because if that happens, I can just watch the game. I can just watch it and enjoy it. If it's the Niners and the Chiefs or the Niners or the Chiefs, I have to root against one of them. And I'd rather just watch a game and be like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I suppose
Okay.
between those two, I wanted it to be Buffalo versus the Lions, so one of those teams could get off the schneid. I mean, you can't tie in the Super Bowl, so one of those teams literally would have had to end their NFHell. And that's what this show is about, and it would have been awesome to see that. So I guess if it is Baltimore, Detroit, I will want Detroit to win so that can happen. But I'm gonna pick Detroit. I don't think they're gonna win, but there you have it.
All right, and now so that's Jails, Ravens, Lions, Dames, Ravens, Lions. Next up, Gobo. You have Ravens. Are you also taking Lions? Or are you going Niners?
Yeah, I'd love to pick the Lions. I'm picking the
You
Niners.
wouldn't? No, you wouldn't.
I
They're your Niners. I mean, do you fucking hate?
I know that's the thing. It's like
Yeah,
okay, so
that's
here's,
why I
to our
here's my
audience.
justification. I think because of the curse, and I think because of like how tortured Lions fans are, I'm feeling a little bit empathetic toward their cause. I know
It is the Lions.
Gobo's heart may have grown 3 sizes the day before this episode, but here's the thing: is like the Lions, they're like you said, and I absolutely agree with you, Dames. They're not going to be they're not going to be good next year, and this is really going to be the last time in probably a decade again that they're going to have a shot at making the Super Bowl. And so it's like I'd love to see it happen for them. That being said, San Francisco's so good. Like the Packers played an inspired game. We outperformed them, and they still found a way to win because they're that fucking talented. And as good as the Lions are, they don't match up against San Francisco. So on the road, potentially in the rain, like it was against Green Bay, the 49ers are going to take it. So Niners, Ravens.
And you're
Super Bowl.
saying this Debo or not?
Doesn't matter.
He said that
they got Kittle, they got McCaffrey, they got that new kid. They had another they had like a rookie that burned us a couple of times. 49ers are stacked, man. So Debo makes them even better, but without him, they're gonna be just fine. Maybe not against Baltimore.
I don't know.
G-Man.
Guys, you know I've been on the Lions train all season long. My boys Goff on my fantasy winning team, Hutchinson on defense, Gibbs, Amon-Ra. And you'd be fool to believe that the Lions won't be back after this because
why do you say that?
I'll tell you why I say that, because A, of the division they're in, and B, because of they run the fucking rock. So those two things. You think the Bears or Vikings are a threat? No, it's the Packers.
I think all three of those teams.
If the Vikings replace Kirk Cousins, absolutely, they still have Jefferson.
All three of those teams are going to pass. The Lions will be last in the division next year, is my prediction.
Why are you saying that? Why are you guys saying that?
Jared Goff has to fall off.
They won 12 games this year. Jared Goff has been to a Super Bowl with a different team. Now he's in a title game. Just because he looks funny throwing doesn't mean he's a bad quarterback. Where is your basis for this? Where's your hatred for Goff coming from? Look at him. He's winning.
I just think he's going to fall off sooner than later.
You claim you say the coach.
Not that I hate Goff. I just think Brock Purdy's better.
Well, no, you're for next year. For next year.
He's talking about next year.
Oh, for next year? He's a good quarterback, but is he going to be better than Jordan Love? No. I mean, is he going to be better than who the Vikings potentially pick up? Maybe. Is he better than if the Bears draft Caleb Williams? No.
Well, they won 12 games. It's not just the quarterback, but anyway, guys. 12 wins, 13. What are we at? 14 wins now, getting to this point of the season.
Yeah.
We're gonna make some wagers before the next season starts, brother.
It's funny though, but it's funny how if this is such a bad coach, and now apparently this is a quarterback that must just be average, yet they're in a title game after winning their division, which has this great Packers team, which you speak of next year. We'll see, but the Lions will be good this year and next year. They run the fucking rock good, and they play good defense. And they will win this game. And Ravens, Lions, Super Bowl.
All right.
I got something, but you go.
I'm good. I already picked my team. You go,
okay.
James.
So I just created a new segment for the beginning of next season. We are going to end next season with a recap of how we start next season, which is going to be us making a bunch of proclamations about what we believe will happen. And then we'll revisit those at the end of the season for maybe like $50.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, like we should each make like 5 proclamations, and whoever gets the most right gets the money.
Or we put other people can.
We also get to like if we're right about the Lions and Jas is wrong, we get to virtually punch his face.
Like I'll Venmo Jass's son like $20. Here, go punch your dad in the penis.
If the Lions finish last in that division next year, you can virtually punch me twice.
2 times.
You heard it here. NFL.
Season's not even over yet.
We want to thank everybody for tuning in. We'll find out who's in the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Yes, you got a Super Bowl, don't you?
2 shows left, guys. 2 shows left.
2 shows.
It's
been a hell of a season.
Thanks for tuning in. Deuces.
Fuck the Chiefs.